I'm Stephanie Oden. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast. And this is where we nurture, inspire, equip, ignite, and empower introvert leaders and business owners just like you who are making waves quietly and with impact. And I am thrilled to be able to bring to you another one of our Spotlight Achiever guest interviews. I like to bring people in front of you that will help you move to the next level of success, whether it's building your leadership skills, embracing who you are as you move to the next level, and growing as a business owner and entrepreneur. So I hope you grab some nuggets from what my guest shares with you. I know when my guests come on, I lean in too. I continue to learn from the people that I put in front of you. So let's dig in, shall we? Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. Welcome back to the Quiet Impact Podcast, and I am your host, Stephanie Oden, and I have with me another one of our Quiet Achiever Spotlight guests, and this is Leslie. Leslie is driven by a mission to create meaningful impact through service, community, and the arts. She is passionate about both the emotional well-being and about the resilience of the community. As a matter of fact, she's dedicated her career and her volunteer work to help people navigate some of life's most difficult moments, while she creates spaces where people can heal, where they can connect, and where they can thrive. In her professional work, Leslie coordinates and supports primarily volunteer workforce that responds during times of disaster and emergency. She has led numerous community initiatives and trainings on preparedness, resilience, compassionate response across multiple regions and communities. And outside of her professional work, she is deeply involved in the arts through Frederick and Rhonda Creates, which is a nonprofit organization she and her husband founded, whose mission is to create powerful performances and projects that foster community, well-being, and empowers artists. She promotes other artists that are coming up. She's a singer, a writer, and also helps coordinate shows and events. She's directed the community choir, she's directed local vocals, and she brings people together to create a space that inspires connection, healing, and hope, all through using the ability of the arts. She has two daughters and three grandchildren, and she's married to Keith Bean. Leslie, I'd like to ask my guests, what is something that you'd like to share that is not in the bio?
Oh, wow. Well, Indiana is a great place, and I love little towns because little towns have stories. So, love travel, going to little places, eating in little hole in the wall places, because those places, while, like you said, it's outside of work, it still promotes community. And that is just something that just resonates with me is these spaces and places where people gather and enjoy one another.
Now, didn't you two take like a lighthouse trip or something? I seem to remember you doing something with different lighthouses.
Yes, absolutely. So we being Keith Mean and myself, we've been married since 2014. And since that time, we've visited numerous lighthouses in Michigan and North Carolina. And just last year in October, we were down in the Outer Banks, and there's a few lighthouses down there. So we love visiting lighthouses. Hey, here's a little tip and trick. Big Bay, Michigan, which is in the Upper Peninsula, and it is a lighthouse in which you can stay. And so one of the years of our anniversary, we stayed in the Big Bay Lighthouse
Wow.
and walked up the stairs, the very scary stairs, to the light and in the light. And there was a storm going on across Lake Superior. And it was just
Oh, wow.
absolutely magical and powerful. So Big Bay,
Wow.
Michigan.
Yes, that's that. I like that. I don't know if people can see it behind my angel. I have a lighthouse. And
I
so
see.
I do, it's something that I'm drawn to. Something I like to be. That if there were an image of myself, I would say lighthouse. Because I like to draw to myself people who are a good fit and not try to, not chase people. I want people who resonate, and that makes me think about the lighthouse. So enough about me. Tell me about your business and how you help your clients. Maybe share more about Frederick and Runza Creates.
Yes, Frederica Ranza creates it's now a nonprofit organization because, as you said, the creating these spaces where people can come together. We've been doing this quite a while now, since 2013,
Oh,
really.
wow.
Ever
I did not
ever
know
since
that.
Yeah, ever since we met, really, for the very first time. So in 2013, we had a community event called Christmas Treasures, and we had a community choir and people in Allegan, Michigan, coming together, through the power of the arts, just people that probably wouldn't have ever come together before. And so we've been doing it a while, but it's grown. We moved here to Indianapolis in 2019 and started that work here. Like you said, the community choir, local vocals, it's a space where we don't not only sing together, but we are together and we go through life together. And they're friends, they're
Mhm.
colleagues, and it's really a fun time. And singing is good for you, right? If you look at the research around music and singing, it's good for your body. It's good for your body to breathe, to exhale and inhale. That breathing is so good for you, but also the community, being together with other people. That social isolation since COVID, we know that
Yes,
that's an issue, and
yes.
that community choir brings people together.
I
So,
like that.
yeah.
And you also write songs and you write productions. And I had an opportunity to attend one. It was which one was it, Leslie? The one where you told
The blues show.
the Blue Show. It was
Hmm.
so good. It was so good. If you get a chance, make sure you follow Leslie and connect with her, get in her community so you can stay up on. We're going to talk more. Don't worry about it. We're going to talk more, but I wanted to drop that here now. Follow her, connect with her, so that you'll know when she's doing her shows. And when the Blues Show comes near you, go see it. It's such great production. I know that it has not always been easy for you. What do you think some key moments that shaped who you are and how you're here doing the things that you do?
Yeah, and you never figure it out. So it's not like we figured
No.
figured it out at all. But there are some things that we learned over time, and particularly how to get with our brand. What was our brand? What we wanted to be about. So you hear those words and what we say, that mission and vision and everything we do, empowering artists, building community. And so to do that, we have certain things that we focus on. So we focus on highlighting and featuring different artists and having these shows, this historical, the blues show, to your point, had a little bit of history, a little bit of fun, a little bit
It
of
did.
sass, all of
Yes.
those things together,
Yeah.
right? And so that was very on brand for us. But I guess a moment that shaped us was back in Grand Rapids, where we had an event where we were singing in coffee shops and restaurants and things like that. And we had an event at a coffee shop, and guess what? No one came.
No one?
Literally no one. And that had never happened where, I mean, we had small attendance before,
Right, right, right.
20, 15, 20 people. That was probably the lowest we ever had, even in a little space, but literally no one. There was something else going on in the city at the time. No one came. But the store owner, and that evening, that event, which felt really terrible at the time, actually changed the whole trajectory of everything that we have done.
How?
So,
How so?
so the store owner said, "Hey, will you play a concert for me, just for me?" So we did. We did just like what we were going to do that night. We played the whole, I guess it was probably an hour worth of music. And he listened to the whole thing and he sat there and he smiled and clapped and all of that. So whole hour. And then he looked at us and he said, can I give you some advice? Can I give you some feedback and
Okay.
advice? And we said, absolutely. He said, play in spaces where people are listening to you.
Oh my gosh.
And he said,
Oh my gosh.
yes. And he said, don't be afraid to tell your story. He said, hone in on how to tell your story. You guys have a powerful story.
Wow.
So do that. And so ever since then, we've done that. That's what worked for us.
That is good. That's a mic drop moment.
Mhm.
Regardless of the business, the industry, play in places where people are listening.
Yep.
Wow.
And so we've walked that journey, and it's not an easy journey, but that is what we're committed to. That is what when you see us playing and what we commit to doing as a group, that's what we want to be about.
I like that. I'm glad you shared that because I do think that's going to help somebody. I do
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times I've had classes where nobody's shown up. I
Mm-hmm.
thought, well, what did I do wrong? Like, yeah, I did all the things by the checklist, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody. And there's all kinds of reasons. But I like what you two did from that point. You took that as like, okay, here's how we need to hone in better
Mm-hmm.
and really play for people that are listening.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
sometimes it's one, sometimes it's five, sometimes it's
that's right.
50,
That's
but
right.
you don't know where that's going to lead to.
Right.
So it's a big lesson because it's so easy to get discouraged and disappointed in the
Right.
time of instant and viral and
Yeah.
I put my thing on TikTok and I got 1,000,000 views. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, but that's not real.
And
And
we could have packed our bag and went home that
yeah,
night without
yes,
even playing for that guy. We could
yeah.
have just been like, we got to go home.
Well, I can't actually, knowing both you and Keith, I can't see either one of you doing that, given an
Right.
invitation to play.
Yeah. We'll play. And we always say we'll play for one person or 1,000 people because we've truly done all of that.
And her husband Keith is amazing on all the guitars. Like I am when I've just seen him play, he is something else to watch him jam out, I call it. I'm sure there's another high-tech bandy word, but see him go into the zone when he's playing the guitar. And that's a lesson to uh a lesson to you two. It's like, yeah, you could have said, woe is me, had a whole big old pity party, but I know the two of you, that is not you. You're like, oh shoot, yeah, we're ready. We're here. Let's go. And
That's
you
right.
zoned out. He was there, but you were in your own thing. So I love that. Now, we've talked about being an introvert and off camera several times. And I'm curious, how has being an introvert helped you? Because you're with Frederick and Ronza Creates, that's public, okay? In case you didn't know, that is not an introverty thing. Well, neither is speaking, but I do that too. So, but tell me how has being an introvert actually helped you?
Yeah, I think, in public settings in particular, I'm probably not going to be the first one to answer the question or unless it's Stephanie's question, but other than Stephanie, I'm probably not going to be the first one to speak. But I think how that's helped me is to be able to listen to other people and to hear their perspectives. And before I put my perspective all over the place, really thinking about the perspective of other people
Yeah.
and what their needs are, what other people need from this conversation. So I think being an introvert has helped me to be more thoughtful and careful and about what other people need.
And I know we didn't talk as much about uh, the other aspect of what you do, but definitely listening and hearing the needs of what's going in the community and what people need in response to when they have situations that require you. That is definitely a skill to have.
Yeah, it's
versus,
important.
yeah, versus go in there. Was it barrels, whatever that quote is? There's a quote about barrels raised and firing and all that, and mess a whole bunch of stuff up without really bringing people what they need. So I like that you shared that aspect of it.
That's how to build community too, is communities really, they know what they need. And so
Mhm.
going in and sharing, and what you've got, or people know what they need. And so listening to that and seeing how you can connect with that.
That's another mic drop, you know, when it comes to overall business, is people know what they need. They may not be ready for it at the moment, but typically they know what they need. You just have to let them voice that and be ready to fill that gap. Ooh, two
Mhm.
mic drops, Leslie. That is, those are good. I mean, and it goes across any industry. Like those are
Mhm.
things that, regardless of what you do, is pay attention. And so hopefully we'll remember to sum those up. If not, I'll put them in the show notes because you got to catch those two nuggets and make sure you apply those. So, what are some challenges that you've had to overcome to be successful?
Yeah, so I think, and this kind of goes into uh, things to think about as you're building, and part of it is getting focused.
Mm,
So part of that experience that I shared earlier about no one coming to the concert was really branding. What does that look like? Understanding what our strengths are and focusing in on those strengths rather than trying to be all things to all people. So, really, certainly that working with partners, aligning yourselves with partners that we can be mutually beneficial relationships. And so, focus, setting those goals, focusing in on what's important, and then also aligning ourselves with people that can help, because you can't do it on your own, and realizing you can't do it on your own and being willing to ask for help.
right. Those are good. With your experience, I mean, you're dropping some gold nuggets. With your experience, have you thought about or explored consulting with other organizations that are starting up?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've certainly thought about it. People have asked me, as it relates to organizational leadership, or just there's different skills that I may have that can bring to the table. So I've definitely thought about that, and I think that is part of any, as you begin to think about anything new or anything that you want to start, it's laying the foundation. So even
Mhm.
with that, thinking about, again, all the things I just mentioned, what is the purpose, what is the focus, what is the
Mhm.
branding, who are the partners, who do I need to align with? And so, yes, and probably in the beginning stages of that, in terms of
Okay.
thinking about consulting.
Well, I'm definitely going to be keeping a watch to see when you launch that because, just like I said, some of the lessons that you've dropped here, like, oh man, those would be great for organizations starting out. A lot of people have no idea. They decide to plant a flagpole and say, "Hey, I'm going to start a nonprofit." Okay, but what's the purpose? Who's it help? Who are your partners? Like all of those questions are things that you've navigated through, and just your ability to handle crisis. It doesn't have to be a natural disaster. We have things that we have to pivot in life and in business, and you have that natural ability to stay calm in chaos, which is good. Well, okay, let me say it this way. On the outside, we look calm in the chaos, but on the inside, it could be a whole different squirrel running around in there.
Well, I always say there's these Leslieisms that I say in my professional and personal life, but flexibility is the key to survival.
It is. It is. It definitely is. I have enjoyed just have taken time to chat with you. Leslie is one of the members of the Introvert Achievers Network. She's really proof that what we're doing works. Just seeing her expand. She's already successful, but it's just gone to another level with her being a part of the community and her contributions. Thank you, Leslie, for being a part of our community and sharing your expertise there. And We have some very interesting masterminds, and I like that. That's that community piece. You wouldn't know we're introverts when we're in there because we talk a lot, but that's another whole episode by itself. What are three things that you would like to leave our listeners with?
Sure. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about setting achievable goals. So number one, setting achievable goals. And that's important because sometimes we have goals, we have dreams, and dreams are great, but having some achievable milestones around those dreams are really important. So setting realistic. So we talk about SMART goals, and people have probably heard about this, but specific and measurable, achievable, realistic, and they're time bound. There's focus to them. And that is important because without that, especially around their realistic, people can get very discouraged if you don't have something you can work toward and say, oh, I achieved that. I got there, right? And then the second thing is, again, those partnerships and being really specific about that. Not just throwing, I always say, not throwing, here's a Leslieism, not throwing noodles at the wall, but being very specific and aligned to what is it that is mutually beneficial to both the partner and yourself. And then the other thing is to expect obstacles. It is not going to be easy. It is not going to just be, a bowl of cherries and butterflies and unicorns, as
and
we like
Skittles,
to say.
right?
And
Throw some
right,
Skittles in there too.
right. So expect that, and then also have that support system. You need that support system when those hard times come. So those are the few things that I would say.
Those are good. I appreciate you sharing those. And what are the best ways for listeners to follow you, find out more about what you're doing, stay plugged in?
Well, I'm certainly on Facebook. That is a place that I am. So Leslie Bean, and then my little
Okay.
profile picture is like orange. You can see it's a stage, but it's all orange. So if you see that, that's probably me. We also have a website, fredericaandronza.com. So that's a great place to connect. You can be
Okay.
added to the mailing list there, and we send out emails generally about once a month, or maybe a little bit more if we have an event coming up. We are on Instagram and TikTok as well, Frederic and Ronza. So, yeah,
Excellent.
you can catch us on all of those platforms.
And I will make sure and put your information in the show notes. And you started a Facebook group. Sing It Forward. Are you going to keep that group going?
Yeah, we did that for a specific period of time. At our anniversary of when Frederic and Ronza were created was May 6th. And so we had a 30-day challenge for people to share about music and the impact of music. And so that has been impactful. People have shared about their childhood memories, or memories about songs that are important to them. So yes, we're going to keep that going. It's going to go beyond the 30-day challenge.
Okay, great. I will make sure I put that in there too. I like that group because it brings back such memories, except when you ask, what's the one song? I'm like, girl, I can't do the one song. Like, at which period in my life, which song was the one song? And then there's musicals, and then there's the whole soundtrack to the musicals. But I love what you're creating there. And it does come back to how well and how intentional you are with creating community and spaces that really support what you say, the emotional well-being and the community and supporting the arts. And that I see that in everything that you do. So thank you for being my guest today. And
Thank you, Stephanie.
I
Thank you
look
for everything
for
that you're doing,
thank you.
which is a lot.
I look forward to um, seeing more of your success and making sure I share those. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I look forward to keeping up with you, celebrating you, contributing in the group, and watching this stage and your next stage, Leslie.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Take care.